Hey beautiful souls, welcome to today's soul chat. So I want to talk about this topic we talked about a few weeks ago around loneliness, but pair it a little bit with fear. So I've been hearing a lot of things from the collective, a lot of things from clients, a lot of things from other people that I just connect with on other mediums that I like support people in, just about how they're feeling like really lonely in this period of time, very specifically to all of my mothers that are out there, all of my new moms that are out there, the feeling of loneliness, the feeling of it feels like only you understand what you're going through, and sometimes whatever you're going through feels really scary, feels really, really heavy, and it's hard to explain that to people because they're so excited for you and they're so excited for this new blessing that's in your life, this baby that's in your life, right? And so I wanted to talk about this topic because I feel like just in the world in general, this is like a very common thing, and a lot of the reasons why it's common I want to dive into, and I want to dive into spiritually, what does this all mean and what we can do from a spiritual perspective of really overcoming this and dealing with this. So let's dive into it a little bit, right? This whole feeling of loneliness, I think, is amplified right now in our world because we're so tapped into this thing called social media. And social media is great, right? It's how you and I are connecting right now. It's a great platform, but there's a lot of things that we do and we think with social media, right? With seeing things on social media, with seeing people on social media, with seeing how people are, with the information that's coming through, and often we don't stop and think on how that's taking a toll on our mental health. Outside of that, we also then start to make these stories of how new parents, new mothers may be acting, may be happy because you see all these pictures of them and their kids, and you see them doing all these great things, and you're just not there, and you feel lonely because maybe you don't have anybody even around you to help you with this new phase of your life. And then the second aspect of all of it is just the fact that we're just tapped into so much noise, even outside of social media, right? Like, we're just tapped into a lot of noise. I remember before the cell phone existed, I'm old enough to remember this, how it was like so easy to have time with the people that were very dedicated to you in your life, right? Like, I remember growing up with like family friends that were like always there for us, like always there for us, and it felt good. There was that like social connection, right? When I moved to this country, my parents, my entire family was in India, and is still in India. I think we only have like a few people that moved from India to either the US or Canada. And I pretty much grew up my whole life feeling like alone because I didn't have any cousins to play with. I didn't have family members to like come to my birthday party or things like that. I had friends, like a few friends. But I remember prior to social media how easy it was to just be like, okay, but this is my life, and accept it. I feel like nowadays the issue has become that there's so much more comparison because there's so much more available to us to compare, right? And it's so easy to do, and it's so easy to fall into that trap that we don't even realize that we're doing it, and that it's actually causing us a lot of mental health issues. And not only that, but it's like we're creating a narrative, a story outside of us, within us, that isn't even true, right? It's not true. There's no way for you to know. Like, let's just think about this, but like, there's no way for you to even know if the other person that you may be comparing your life to is actually living their life in the way that you're thinking, right? Unless you actually have an honest conversation with them, and I'm pretty sure they will tell you and validate a lot of the things that you're going through as a new mom. So let's break it down in terms of like the loneliness with the fear, right? During the time of postpartum, there is this overwhelming sense of emotion that starts to like come up in a mother. It's scientific. Our hormones are changing, and the fear that starts to rise up, and the loneliness paired with the fear can feel so crippling to some people. I was there. I was one of them. It felt so crippling at times and so heavy, so immensely heavy that I just wanted to isolate myself from everybody and everything, because I felt like nobody gets me, nobody understands me, nobody understands who I am, and I was like, I don't even want to be here. Like, I don't even want to be in this human form anymore because it's so painful. Spiritually, what's happening is there's a contraction period before the expansion, right? So just like when the baby's born, we go through contractions before it expands and the baby can come out, right? It's the same concept with postpartum. It's a contraction period before the expansion. So it's like you're taking on a new identity as a mom. You're taking on this brand new identity. Your energy is quite literally changing. It needs to be expanded enough for you to hold space in your heart and in your spirit for this baby, to nurture and care for this baby. And so your spirit, your energetic self, goes through a contraction period postpartum before you're able to expand into this new self, this new version of you. And we go through these contraction periods so many times in our life. Every time that we are trying to elevate and up level and ascend, right? We actually go through a contraction prior to the expansion, because we need to shed and let go of all of the stuff that no longer resonates and no longer aligns with the new expanded version of us. This is spiritual law. This happens every single time you have the desire to expand. Every single time you even have a desire, period, right? Because for you to hold that desire within your vessel, you need to expand to hold it and sustain it. And if you can't expand to hold it and sustain it, that desire will just be a desire. It won't come into your reality. And so what the universe does in order for you to bring that into your reality is it pushes you into a contraction period to let go of the things that you no longer need, to go through this period of like, this is not me, I'm up leveling, I'm elevating, and pushes you to then go into that expansion. It's like the caterpillar going into the cocoon and then coming out as a butterfly. We go through this transformation that the caterpillar has a transformation to become a butterfly. We go through this transformation as well every single time we have a desire that is allowing us to up level, to elevate, to expand, right? Because the thing is, if you had a desire, let's break this down a little bit. If you had a desire and your vessel was already expanded enough to hold this desire, it would just come into your life. Those are the manifestations that happen like this, right? But those manifestations that are pushing you to become a different version of you, those manifestations, those are the ones I'm talking about. These are the life-changing ones, right? The desires that are life-changing. Those will push you to become the next level, the more elevated level of you right now, because your vessel needs to expand, your consciousness needs to expand. Your consciousness needs to expand to allow yourself to believe that you even are worthy of this desire, right? Your consciousness needs to align to this fact of like, yes, like this desire is mine, I'm able to bring that into my life and I'm worthy of it, because that's where it starts from. And so for you to go through that elevation of consciousness, that ascension of consciousness, that means that you have to go through a period of contraction. It's just natural. It's a natural law of the universe. And so during the period of postpartum, that's actually what's happening to a mom. We're going through a period of contraction to allow ourselves to align with the new version of us, which is mom, which is the energy of mom, right? Even during pregnancy, we go through these like energetic shifts of aligning ourselves to become that energy of what mom means to you. And that allows us to bring in the blessing of this baby in our reality, and then to sustain the blessing of the child in our life. And every single time you have a desire with this child, right? There is going to be a period of you contracting before you expand. And so, fear is that thing that constantly pops up every single time you're in your shadows, every single time you're in this contraction period, every single time you're in this period of darkness, and you know that a breakthrough is going to come in. Guarantee you 99.9% of the time, fear is there. Fear is there to hold your hand and be like, oh, well, do we really need to do this? Do we really need to up level? Do we really need to go through this? Because it does not want to go through this, because this is like a little bit of you letting go of fear, right? Fear wants to hold on to you, wants to control you. That is what fear loves to do. It likes to feed off of your energy, and the more it feeds off your energy, the more power it has. And the more you let go of that and you realize that you have power over fear, the more you're able to become courageous and, kind of push through your fears, right? And so this feeling of like it being very scary when you're lonely, because it's like dark and it can just feel like no one's there, right? We're also social beings. Like, I think this is the other point I want to really make, is like, we're social beings. We need social interaction. And thanks to social media, we don't have the social interaction that we should have. We are constantly like liking things and on our phones and, doing this thing, right? And we're not like really interacting with people on the level of vulnerability and love that our heart really, really is open for, right? And so we have this emptiness inside of us, which then feeds to the loneliness, because we don't have that depth of emotional connection, right? All of the connections feel very fake, because some of them really are. Because we live in a world where we are more concerned about our image on social media and what's going on social media and who liked what than we are with going in diving deeper in our relationships that we have, or creating new relationships and diving deeper in them, because we're too afraid to get hurt. We're too afraid of what people think of us. We're too afraid of whatever it may be, right? Whatever our wounds are, we're too afraid of rejection. We're too afraid of abandonment. And because of all of those fears that we have, we don't connect on a deeper level. And then what tends to happen is we feel empty and we feel lonely. And then we start to feel like, well, there's nobody there for me, right? There's nobody there for me that understands me and understands what I'm going through. And then we feed back into the fear. And so, Urvi, what do we do about this? We understand that we're here, understand this is the situation. What do we do? The very first thing is to bring awareness. So awareness is what allows us to actually understand that we're even in the state of being, right? The next thing is, now that you're in the state of being, you have a choice. Do you want to be in the state of being, or do you want to be in a different state of being? So if you're in the state of being of fear, do you want to be in the state of being of fear, or do you want to be in the state of being of love or something else? And the last thing for you to understand is this. Whatever is happening in your external is actually a reflection of your internal, right? So if you feel like in your life, the people in your life, the relationships in your life, whatever else out there, you're not getting the love that you need, chances are you're not giving yourself the love that you need, right? I want you to go deeper with yourself in this conversation and really ask yourself, like, What is a love that I'm looking for? What is it that will fill me from feeling empty from this loneliness and from this fear? What is it that I'm really looking for in life? Answer that question, and then understand that you already have it. It's already available to you from yourself and from source, from God, from spirit, right? We are all already loved more than we can even imagine. More than we can even imagine, but we're not tapped into that place. We're not working on our relationship with God, with spirit, with source. We are instead worrying about all the other relationships out there and how those people view us and how we should act in that way, right? Instead, go inwards and understand that you're not lonely. You can never be lonely, ever, even after you die, because you're always connected to source. Always. And so here's a mantra for you that I want you to say every single time you feel like you have that feeling of fear or loneliness inside of you. Here's a mantra. I want you to close your eyes right now, and I want you to feel in your heart the immense light of source, God, spirit, whatever you call that higher power, universe. Just feel it radiate around your heart and fill up your heart space so much that your vessel is expanding and expanding and expanding. And the mantra I want you to say is, Spirit, Source God, I love you so much. Thank you for pouring your unlimited abundance of love into me at all times. I know right now I may feel lonely and I may feel scared, but you are there with me, holding my hand, walking with me on this path. And you will always be with me. And I know that. I love you. I want you to just share this, save it, comment, whatever it may be, but just save this. Save this mantra for the next time you feel the sense of emptiness inside of you. And you can even say it on a daily basis to help you move through this energy. And so that's all we have for today. We can break this down even more. If you have questions or comments or anything, just put it in the comment section. I really love to create these soul chats based off of things that are going on or something that you may be going through. So if you have questions about something or you're going through something and you're like, I really need kind of spiritual advice on this, just put it in the chat so I know and I'll make a video on it. And if you're diving into like, I need more help with this, I need more support, you can always go into my bio, check out my services, see if something aligns with you, and we can always jump on a free call to just talk about where you are and if I can help you with anything. I love you all so very much. Peace, love, and light. Namaste.